Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is Laughin' Games here. I'm back with another one of these StarCraft 2 Evo casts. And so that means we have got not just StarCraft 2, but also Brood War, bringing the two greatest RTS games together, which is phenomenal. And we've got a match that I'm very excited for at the minute because it's a matchup that we haven't seen nearly enough of in this mod. So it's going to be Dark, top Zerg player in the world in StarCraft 2, but very cool playing in these events, and taking him on is going to be none other than Liquid SKillous, who is a really, really good European Protoss player. It's just a little hard to shine in that region when you've got someone like MaxPax ahead of you. But yeah, SKillous is a phenomenal Protoss player. And so ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure you go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. And yeah, leave a comment down below saying more SC Evo. Let me know what your favorite race is in this mod, whether you think any of them are particularly OP or anything like that. Anyway, for this match here today, we have got SKillous booting in as the Brood War Protoss, trying to take down Dark, playing his native StarCraft 2 race of Zerg. And so that's going to be a bit of a tall order. However, SKillous is a very sneaky Protoss player, and he's already opening up with a double gate opening. Very notably, he is not going for a Cyber Core yet, and so just wants to fire out a couple of Zealots right out the gate to put early game pressure on Dark. Now this is SC Evo, so the scouting isn't as direct, and Dark isn't quite aware that this is coming his way. As a result, he sent his first Overlord to the right side of the map, so he doesn't know that there's multiple Zealots heading his way. So a very cool choice by SKillous to go for such aggression, even at the significant delay of his Cyber Core. But now Dark is going to have to face a Zealot with his friend that's also showing up. So these Zealots, they're moving on in towards the natural of Dark. He fires up a Roach Warren immediately, saying, uh-oh, cheese alert. This one Zealot is fighting some of the Lings of Dark, but does actually let them get away. Still, this hatchery is now under fire. The Queen could potentially be chased and killed. We'll see. Dark fires up 8 Lings. This Zealot is chasing it. So right now, though, SKillous seems kind of like a dog that caught the car, you know? It's chasing the car, but it doesn't really know what it's going to do when it gets there. So these Zealots, they seem a little bit like they're not achieving too much right now. They are getting surrounded by Dark as well and are going to get killed. 2 more Zealots roll on up for SKillous, but then they are, yeah, they've really just got no choice but to go home. It is some good early game damage, as SKillous does have his own Nexus behind this. He caused Dark to heavily delay his own, caused Dark to heavily delay his, like, just own economy in order to defend that. He's invested in 5 Roaches, though. So I think we're going to be seeing a bit of a counter push by Dark, and that is something that you have to love about Dark. He's not just a player who will defend cheese. He's one that will turn it around on the cheeser, and that's exactly what we're going to be seeing him try and do against SKillous to take game number 1 potentially in this best of 3. And it is a best of 3, ladies and gentlemen, so we've got at least one more match to look forward to after this. So we're going to probably have SKillous's Protoss against Dark's StarCraft 1 Zerg. Now, SKillous is on the defensive. He's got a very good count of Zealots in order to defend this, but the problem is there's just so much coming for Dark. And SKillous, he's investing in a Forge, he's getting up a Robobay, making a Shuttle. Those are not things that are necessarily going to help him defend in this situation. Dark has got a bunch of Lings, but now in come the Ravagers, which are a unit that probably disrupted StarCraft 2's meta more than anything else. They're at Edition and Legacy of the Void, the Corrosive Biles. They're so good against the buildings, so SKillous has to pull probes. In this fight, he's trying to hold the wall. Dark is Corrosive Biling down the pylon, although there is multiple pylons. So these batteries may just finish up, but SKillous is in a little bit of trouble. He's picking up some of his units to keep them alive, microing that Dragoon. The shield battery does finish up, so the Dragoon is in a very good spot at the back. A second pylon finished up, and these batteries are doing a lot of work keeping these Zealots alive. However, 14 probes did fall. The Dragoon does get saved in the shuttle once again by SKillous, but he just was not ready for this counterpunch by Dark. The Ravagers are a unit that may need some creativity from Brood War Protoss in order to beat. And all in all, well done by Dark, just countering the cheese of SKillous and shutting it down hard. So now we can go ahead and load on into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon me, I just gotta click on that replay. They're named in a format that doesn't load in StarCraft 2 by default, so you gotta change the name before it'll actually load, funnily enough. But there we go. And now I assume we're gonna have the races swapped, as it will be SKillous's pick in order to play whatever race he wants. And no, we're actually gonna be having SKillous saying, no, I want to play this again. I want a rematch after that. So while Dark takes map number 1, SKillous says, nope, give me Brood War Protoss again. I really love that decision by the Protoss player. It shows some confidence. And yeah, we'll just see where this one's going to go. As ladies and gentlemen, before we get any further into this game though, make sure to go ahead, if you're watching, click that like button, and importantly, subscribe, as this is a newer YouTube channel trying to create great content for, well, create StarCraft 2 content that may not necessarily be cast, and I think is undershown to the community. So like these SC Evo games are fantastic to watch. We got 2v2 pro tournament VODs, that kind of thing. Yeah, just check it out is all I'll say. We've got an early probe scout from SKillous, and that is letting him know where Dark has spawned. Looks like the Protoss player is going to go for a Nexus first. So being just going to try and make use of the 4-player map and get a nice economy going. He'll certainly have to wall. Now I do wonder if Dark, upon seeing the direction of that probe coming in, is like, that's because I mean he had his Overlord heading south, so maybe he's like, hey, it gets scouted out here, so maybe he knows the probe came from the left. His Overlord is heading towards the left now. Cool aesthetic turret on this map. Very Protoss and futuristic. That would be something if you could put that. Looks like it's on top of a Nexus almost. Imagine if you could build those on top of your Nexus. That would be something very cool. Maybe like in a campaign mission, have like a big cannon or something on your Nexus that you can use to siege the enemy. Anyway, we are seeing now as we've got double gateways on the way for SKillous. As he follows that up, we'll see if he opens up with the Zealots once again. I mean, the Zealots were fine, just it was a bit of a commitment. He's not delaying his Cyber Core this map, which I think is very important, as who knows, he might have had a Reaver to help defend or had some more tech if he hadn't invested in as many of those early game Zealots as he did in the previous match. Scouting Overlord for Dark is just going to roll on up here. Dark will see that SKillous got away with a Nexus first. The Zerg does immediately throw up a Roach Warren, so we're actually going to have a bit of a repeat in what could be a bit of a dirty best of 3, as Dark attempts to go for the same build once again in the matchup. And yeah, this could be really problematic for SKillous. It's not like he's got a sentry with a hallucination to scout. He does immediately throw up a battery though, which I really love that decision. But SKillous will have a hard time scouting this out, so we'll see if he just goes for a shuttle right out the gate once again, or go for an observer foundry so he can make observers, which is a building that you actually have to build as Protoss in Brood War, not in StarCraft 2. So StarCraft 2 Protoss are spoilt in that regard. Dark, though, is firing up 7 Roaches. SKillous is continuing to produce units right now. He's got 1 Dragoon on the way, although this other gateway is sitting idle, and he's got no heads up that this attack is coming for him. He does have a whopping 5 Zealots, but he's actually deciding to move out. He turns one of those around, or turns most of them around. He's unsure of what to do in this game right now, and he definitely doesn't know that this is coming out of Dark, but he's gonna know soon enough. He builds another Zealot and has yet to fire up another battery or a Dragoon, anything like that. We could be seeing a very quick best of 3, ladies and gentlemen, which, I mean, is not what I set out to cast here today, as I think PvZ is something I'd like to see a lot more of. Still, though, maybe SKillous can pull off a defense. He immediately throws up 2 batteries. Dark is targeting the battery of SKillous, though. There is the shuttle that can potentially micro these units. There he goes, picking up the injured Zealot. Corrosive Bile does go down, doesn't actually hit any of the buildings. Lings are trying to flood through here. SKillous has got to hold on until he can get out this Reaver that's building, and I think he will, as he does have quite a nice wall on the battery. Unfortunately, Lings do run on up into the main base. They're going to start attacking some of these pylons. Probes may need to be pulled into the fight once again. Now, this is leaving the Roaches without support of the Lings, and oh, the problem is, though, this Reaver is going to pop out, and it may just get surrounded and killed by the Lings. I think the shuttle needs to go back there to save that. There's only 2 Zealots and the Dragoon left. Nice probe walk there to fight the Lings to get a pretty good fight for SKillous. He does have the Reaver. It's not doing anything right now, though. And it's not producing any Scarabs. That's because SKillous is so broke. He is holding the line for now. He's got all these batteries. They're pretty much out of juice, though, but they will actually regen a little bit of energy every second, so they may be able to heal a little bit. Another Zealot pops on out. Some more Lings do run to the main base. There is that Reaver. It's going to fire on just one Ling. That's a pretty expensive Scarab, and it would probably be better off being used to fight on the front line. SKillous is trying to make a miracle hold happen right now. He's got to keep microing these units. Probably wants to save that Dragoon. He's just pulling it back. As probes continue to buffer, SKillous can afford to take quite a bit of damage. Great dodge on the Corrosive Bile there, as Dark continues to try and push on in, but these batteries, they keep regenerating energy. Great micro on the shuttle by SKillous. That Reaver is slowly making its way to the front. They're so slow. That's why players generally shuttle them around. But man, oh man, I think SKillous has held this. What a defense by the Protoss player. It was absolute chaos for a solid minute or two. Drop goes down from that Reaver, and look at that. It just chases the Lings almost forever. I think it may have... Did it expire there? Is that a thing they do? They only go for a certain amount of distance? Guys, I'm not some Brood War expert. I've played through the campaign. I've played a couple multiplayer matches, and I've followed some pro games. But there is little mechanic things that we're finding out for the first time. And it is a mod, so not everything is the same. Like, I don't know if Reavers have that second delay after the drop before they fire, as like they do in this mod in Brood War, because it might just be a balance thing, as they do try and keep this quite balanced. The wall for SKillous is phenomenal. He's got 4 batteries. He doesn't have to worry about his natural being broken. We are now seeing this Reaver move around. It can just drop behind a mineral line. Dark is preemptively splitting his drones. This thing can fire. It probably will be able to kill that Queen if he wants, and he does just delete that Queen. These things are so monstrous. Looks like he does lift it up. That shot actually bugged out a little bit, I think, there. I'm not sure. Like, it did go off, but it seemed to hang for a bit. Anyway, the shuttle does get pushed away. We're now seeing Dark go for a transition into Mutalisk. SKillous, he did see the double gas at the natural, which may be making him a little bit suspicious. And we are seeing cannons build in the mineral lines. We are seeing a Stargate, so SKillous has got a phenomenal read on this, as he just, anticipates Mutas. He's thinking, right, how would Zerg follow this up? Look at that. A battery going up. A cannon going up, and I don't think Brood War Mutas are as good as Starcraft 2 ones, ladies and gentlemen, as it's the same unit, or pardon me, yeah, I'm getting this backwards. No, SKillous is trying to defend with Brood War stuff against Starcraft 2 Mutas, so these are the good Mutas that Dark has. And now SKillous, he's making a Corsair to be this anti-Muta unit. The cannon and the battery is definitely going to help out tremendously, as SKillous sees he was right to go for this defense against this. He's got to be careful with that Dragoon. Does pull it back into the battery. That thing does have a limited amount of energy, though. Corsair is about to pop out. We're seeing a lot more gateways be produced by SKillous, and Dark is just on... Well, Dark is just getting up his 3rd base. SKillous is on 2 bases. He can stay on 2 bases for a while. Looks like he may lose that. Unfortunately, he does. He's got to micro this Corsair like he would micro a Phoenix in StarCraft 2. Unfortunately, he is going to lose another Dragoon and another one, so 3 Dragoons killed by the Mutas so far. That is not good. This Corsair also gets mis-microed by SKillous, and that costs him dearly. He needs to be building up a count of these, as Dark is just adding in more and more Mutas. Corsair does pop out, and they deal quite a bit of damage to Mutas, but look at that, the Mutas just chase it away. It's not the same unit interaction as it is in StarCraft 2, where the Phoenix can just endlessly kite, and oh, he's got to be so careful with that shuttle. He unloads both the Reavers, but he does lose the shuttle. It's so good that he kept that alive, though. I think we may need to see SKillous fire up a second Stargate or something. He's firing up 5 Dragoons at a time, so he may just be looking to move out against Dark, which I think would be a reasonable decision. Like, he's got a bigger army supply than his opponent. He's just got to defend against this. We are getting Singularity Charge, which increases the range of Dragoons, which will make them much superior against the Mutas than they currently are, as range is everything when it comes to chasing down these blasted Mutalisk. Now, let's see, as SKillous is fighting on top of some of his batteries, but look at that. I mean, the Mutas are just picking off some of these Dragoons. They're not that good against the Mutas. We're seeing this. Look at this. Dark, so confident, just commits on in here, and we're seeing that Protoss may struggle a little bit against Starcraft 2 Mutas when they're controlled by a Zerg as good as Dark. Like, Dark, I'm not sure he's lost a single Muta. No, he hasn't. He's taken excellent care of these, and look at this. He pounces on top of the Corsairs. Looks like he does keep them alive, though, which is very important, and Skillous does keep building up his army. Time is improving things for Dark, though, as his Muta count grows. There's no Psy Storm or anything to help deal with these Mutas. Dark's economy is going to be booming soon. And, yeah, let's see here, as there's more Dragoons being made for Skillous. He's got out a few Corsairs, but he hasn't made too many more of them. He's now getting +1 armor on his units, but look at this. In come the Mutas into the main base. Skillous can chase them away with the Corsairs, and they do have to run away, but now look at this. The Protoss is moving out on the map. He's got a whopping amount of Zealots, a good enough number of Dragoons, maybe enough to fight off the Mutas. We'll see, because Dark does have quite a few Lings to support this, and if all the Dragoons go down, the Mutas can clean everything up. The Reavers are unloaded. They're getting some decent connections. This is quite a few Dragoons still left for Skillous, but I'm not sure it's enough to bring down all these Mutas of Dark. So his push on the front lines may be in trouble. There's the Corsairs coming in to help. They are a little bit late, as if they were there during the main fight, they would have added a lot of damage. Dark is actually just going to engage them, transfusing a Muta even. A lot of Mutas did die during that fight. However, Skillous lost most of his army. The Protoss, though, still has even army supply compared to the Zerg. He's just rallying more units across the map. He's got charge on his Zealots, so they cross the map very quickly. Now, Mutas are going to try and engage these 3 Dragoons. The Dragoons, I mean, they do target down 1 Muta. Dark is producing more. The Reavers are still alive in the shuttle, and they are going to help clean up the Lings that are there, but there's just not enough anti-air for Skillous, and so the Zealots have no choice but to run around, as Dark has just been pumping more and more Mutas. Skillous, he does have this shuttle. It's moving around. He's probably going to try and pick off something, but look at this. Dark does find it, so it's going to buy time at best. Maybe get a few drones. Will Skillous unload the Reavers? Yes, he does. So that's going to be a few dead drones, some disrupted gas mining, which is very important, as Dark is using that to frantically make his Mutas. Skillous does kill off a few of those Mutas, and the shuttle is actually quite quick. What's the movement speed on this? I can't see it since it's actually loaded with units right now, but it is fast since it's got that speed upgrade. Skillous is playing quite a great game here. We'll see if he unloads these Reavers just to buy himself a bit more time, and he does. The Mutas immediately turn off that, but oh, looks like Skillous is pulling Dark's attention away with a counterattack to actually save that shuttle. A couple Mutas are going to kill off the Reavers, unfortunately, for Skillous, but this attack timing is quite nice, pulling Dark's attention away. And Dark isn't mining at this base. He's mining at his actual 3rd base location. This is his 4th, but if Skillous can still kill this, that would be quite nice. I mean, a lot of Mutas are dying in this fight, but it's still quite a count of them for Dark. 13 more Dragoons come forward. Skillous needs to target down those injured Mutas, and I'm not sure he's doing that. Looks like the Zealots may get the 4th base behind this, but yeah, Skillous isn't quite targeting down the Mutas. I'm not sure what else he was focused on during that, and he fires up 7 Zealots as he's got 7 Dragoons. Looks like some Zealots are disrupting the mining at Dark's natural, so Dark loses his 4th, has mining disrupted at his natural, and loses 9 drones. Skillous is still in this. The main base is slowly starting to mine out for the 2-basing Protoss, though, so we'll see if he throws up a 3rd and accepts to macro this out, or he may just try and win the game here. I think I'd like to see him probably just try and win the game. He invests in a Templar Archives. That's something you can do. Very cool for the Protoss, because gas runs out slower than the minerals does, so you can sort of switch your economy to what you're going to have more of. 13 drones going down, a very effective Zealot run by Skillous, hurting Dark's economy. Still, though, Dark has got a ridiculous Muta count right now, and Skillous, he's making Archons to try and counter this, it would seem. Archons or High Templar. The Archons could definitely be quite effective against these, but that Templar Archives will finish up. There could even be DTs produced by Skillous. Now that would be cool, as I'm not sure Dark has actually got much detection, but I do suppose he does have Overlords, which can be detection for the Zerg. Or pardon me, yeah, Overseers. I keep getting switched up a little bit. Maybe it's because I'm used to the players switching races. But it's like, no. Now I'm getting my Starcraft 2 mixed in with my Brood War. There is so many mutas for Dark. I am a little bit concerned. SKillous is making many High Templar right now, so he'll be able to morph some Archons. But look at all these mutas that Dark has produced. He's got 25. Dragoons are going to try and push them away. There's the Corsairs. He definitely wants to fight underneath these batteries, but Dark just has so many. And SKillous, he's attempting to get up a 4th base, but that is going to be canceled. A poor probe transfer. Those are all going to be ripe for the picking for Dark, and he's going to see all those probes, and SKillous really can't do anything to save them as it's a long walking path. The Protoss player just has to cancel the Nexus. I think he would have been better off expanding towards this location, but I mean, the mutas for Dark, they'll find damage nonetheless. There is the 2 Archons there, shooting away at those mutas. Brood War Archons, not something we've seen too much of. And look at that, 33 damage, range 2, but I'm not sure if they have their splash damage. I think that's just a StarCraft 2 thing. So they may not be as good. The wall gets broken down, which actually may help SKillous chase down these mutas. But look at this. A beautiful play by Dark, shutting down the Nexus. We are seeing a Zealot run-by, though. Well, a Zealot run-by is happening to kill 11 of Dark's drones, which is very, very impressive. Which is actually why I'd like to see SKillous squeeze out a DT or 2. He's got the tech already. So thanks to that Templar Archives, he's just trying to chase down these mutas. Zealots have really kept SKillous alive in this game as he knocks Dark down to 43 workers, but the problem is it's 32 mutas. Like, Brood War units are just not designed to fight 32 mutas at once. Archons for SKillous are trying to chase down the mutas, but Dark can just keep building more and more of these. There's literally no reason for him to stop. It's not like SKillous is hitting a critical Corsair count or anything like that. I think Psystorm would probably be the play here. I mean, Dark can always split against the High Templar, but SKillous is making High Templar anyway, so maybe go for that Psystorm or some DTs for harassment, but it's just so difficult when you're pinned down by a Zerg player as good as Dark. Like, Dark is just an absolute monster, and he's just making the absolute right decision to keep building these mutas. Look at this, as Dark is just going to engage on top of 2 of the Archons, saying, that's just 2 Archons, and I got 30 mutas with +2 attacks, so SKillous takes a big loss, and I'm kind of getting worried right now. I think this game may be going to end with a whimper, as SKillous got close to getting off a counterattack, but now Dark, he can just bounce towards that 3rd base that SKillous has been desperately trying to get up, but there's just no end to it. Dark plays with SKillous and takes the 2-0 lead. That second game was way, way better than the first one, though. So really, really well done by Dark. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this cast and you watched up until the end, click that like button. If you haven't already, leave a comment down below saying more. I always default to more bots. Just write any comment, it helps. You can scream into the comments, go ah or e, whatever it may be, and yeah, leave a comment, leave a like. Subscribe is the main thing. If you watch to the end, you probably enjoy the commentary, and we're trying to grow this channel, which it's a little difficult to break into the StarCraft 2 YouTube scene. The algorithm is not a kind thing, so that helps with that. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.